Hey everybody, hello and welcome. You are watching The Voice of Victor, of course. We are up to episode number 12, and I'm glad that you're here. Because we're up to episode 12, that means obviously there are 11 previous episodes, and those previous episodes have a lot of great content to check out for all you voiceover aficionados. And I know you're out there because you're watching now. So what is today's episode all about? Well, I'm glad you asked. With the ever-limited amount of work here in the United States, it's getting smaller and smaller and more difficult to land jobs. I hear it from my constituents, my cohorts, my voiceover cohorts. I hear it every single day. There's not enough work to be had, and part of the reason is the COVID-19 thing that we're all struggling through. So there's less work. A lot of ad agencies are closed or working with skeleton crews. And a lot of the advertisers are pulling their media buys, which doesn't make any sense to me. It seems like now in these times you'd be pumping up the advertising, but what do I know, right? Anyway, does it make sense really to seek voice work elsewhere, like overseas? And to that I answer a resounding absolutely. What are you, crazy? There's a lot of work overseas. I've been cultivating work overseas from the beginning. I've been doing work in the UK, Europe, Asia, the Middle East, of course, and Australia. Been getting work out of Australia. Now, today's show, we're going to be talking with my agent, Katherine Scott, who owns Scout Voice Management in Sydney, Australia, actually just outside of Sydney, Australia, to find out what her opinion is about U.S. voiceovers, voice actors and actresses. Does it make sense for people to seek work overseas, or in a bigger sense, does it make sense to have an overseas talent agent? Is it worth it? Is there any voice work out there? Or are U.S. voiceovers in foreign countries, are we a novelty? So we're going to talk with Katherine Scott about these things and more. And without further ado, let's head to Australia, where it is actually tomorrow morning. They are 14 hours ahead, so let's connect with Katherine right now. Okay, good morning, Katherine.
Hello, Ed. How are you?
Now, what time is it there?
It's just on 8:10 in the morning. So start tomorrow. Yeah, Friday.
How was yesterday? Was it a good day? I just need to know for myself.
Let me think. You know, it was a great day. How are things over there with you guys?
We are surviving. We are in the epicenter here in Florida. And you were telling me earlier before we started recording that you're getting a second wave of the disease, the COVID.
Yeah, unfortunately we are. So, in fact, I just got my mask this morning, and you know, we're going to start implementing that a little bit more in Australia. So
let's just get a little background on Katherine Scott. You took over, you were a talent agent first, and then you actually took over another agency, Katherine Evans.
Correct.
How'd that happen?
So I basically started off as an agent assistant in 2008, working underneath Katherine Evans, who'd been in the industry for 25 years. So she was quite a pioneer when it comes to the voiceover industry, and she had worked with a lot of the big agencies here in Australia, and she finally, you know, woman of business, got out and started her own. And so I was with her on that startup. So at the beginning, we had 17 voice artists and basically a zero database. So it was about building that database, working on relationships, and I think that really shaped me to be where I am now. So, you know, in 2015, Kathy decided to retire. I brought in as a partner. And then, you know, through her guidance and mentorship and things like that, I was able to then have a really smooth transition into ownership by 2018. And then, of course, we rebranded over to Scout because it was named Katherine Evans at the time.
Right.
And, of course, my name's Katherine Scott, but, you know, it was kind of getting a little bit disillusioned
confusing
out there. Yeah, that's right. So, you know, we kind of went through a process with a brand strategist to work out a name. And quite honestly, I'm surprised no one actually had the name out. Yeah.
Great name.
Thank you. Thank you.
Terrific
Punchy,
name.
it's cool. And look, it came about because we were actually looking at my last name, and we basically took a T out and it became Scout. So that's basically how it came about. And we had a really big branding renaming party for our 10 years.
You gave me an invite. I couldn't get to Australia. Sorry.
And it was at Fox Studios. You would have loved it. It was insane. We party hard here in Australia. I think my head's still hurting from 2015.
Okay, so this whole show idea, today's show, is there a lot of opportunity for American voiceovers overseas?
Yeah.
And I say yes, because a lot of my billing, yeah, I guess that's the right thing to say. A lot of my work comes from overseas, Australia being one of the places. But, so I guess the question is, for American voice talent, are we a novelty to Australians? Yes or no? Because initially when Kathy Evans signed me, I don't even know how long ago it's been.
I know. We were
15 years?
About, yeah. Well, not that far ago. It was
12?
probably about 12 years ago.
It's been a long time.
You approached Kathy and obviously sent out an introductory email. And, look, at the time, she couldn't deny that you were a great talent, Ed. I mean.
Oh, thanks.
So, it allowed her to start basically a global list of voices. And we never, I suppose, inflated that list because, for any international voiceover artist trying to get representation from other local territories, other international territories, you're only ever going to do as good in your local market first, obviously. Right. But then, in Australia, I mean, we speak English and we, of course we do. Some of our words might be questionable, like Sheila or, Aussie words, inflection, things like that. But with international talent, we do get on the odd occasion a request for something really special. And, it might be when a client's really thinking out of the box or wants to draw a more international audience in. So therefore, the American accent can really give it something punchier to that kind of brand or that kind of creative. And we're seeing a lot of British as well at the moment. So British in America is it's consistently enough to have representation in Australia, yes.
Okay, good. Because I just did something with you guys.
You did. You're a long form man. You're the documentary king.
And I appreciate it.
That's been really fantastic. And, I think each territory does have, especially agencies like ourselves, we do garner work within our local territory, but we are reaching out to international waters as well, per se,
Right.
And the Aussie accent's not going to work internationally. We have to kind of give it a more neutral sound.
Okay.
But then if you're selling out to distributors like, National Geographic or Discovery Channel,
right.
They do want to have a more even American or British or neutral. So it's basically those three when it comes to advertising across the globe.
Okay. And I think that's what we did. I was going to say, because, initially when Kathy signed me, she thought perhaps it was a novelty. And I mean that in the nicest way. It's no different than the guy that does the Outback Steakhouses here in the U.S. is Australian.
I've heard them. Yeah.
And it's so funny because everybody says it's an American guy doing an Australian accent, but it's not.
Oh, isn't it? Wow.
See, the guy's name's William. The guy's name is William Snow. He's from Sydney.
Wow.
I did my research because I always thought it was a hack American guy faking it.
There is more of a propensity for genuine accents. So, Australians, working professionals over in the States, especially on-camera acting, we can call it a working professional accent.
Okay.
If they're going to book someone out of Australia doing maybe an American accent, but there's more of a push now for the real deal. We can't even, I guess, stretch it as far as a New Zealand accent these days. So, they want an actual Kiwi, New Zealander to voice the New Zealand accent. And it's the same with American and British. Yeah. So there is more of a push for that kind of, especially as an agency, to have that repertoire of talent that is authentic and genuinely that accent, because that is what people are asking for as well.
Yeah, they want legit. Are you representing a lot of American voices now or no?
No, just yourself. And I've got one other guy, Robert Lee,
I
who is
love it.
the voice of Mythbusters.
Mythbusters. Okay, got it.
Correct.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's me and him.
Correct. That's you. You
I
guys
feel
are.
honored.
Sorry. And I do have one more, Don Batty, who is currently in Dallas at
Okay.
the moment. So
Very
I've got
good.
three main guys who are genuinely authentic American. And, we're very happy with you guys. And
Thank you.
to be
I
quite
didn't
honest.
ask that for a pat on the back. I had no idea what the roster
Oh,
was.
you did. You did.
I didn't. Bloody hell.
Bloody hell,
All right.
mate.
Moving on. Okay. What do you think is the current state of voiceover in the world? I know the COVID thing's got everybody not well, here in the US, everybody's scrambling, but what do you think is the current state right now?
I want to say the current state, look, it's a lot quieter, but I'm going to say with quiet comes quality over quantity. That's probably what I'm going to say. So,
Okay.
in terms of what's being generated creatively with clients, it is a bit of a, unforeseen market at the moment. It's not something that we can predict right now.
Okay.
Advertisers still do need to connect with their audience. So the creative and the selection of voice is mainly about quality now. So you might have, talent that might be, celebrity talent that might have a bit of a profile that offers, credibility immediately to a brand.
Okay.
And during this time, while we're all in this together, because there's a lot of those ads floating around at the moment, that's where they're drawing on that credibility as well from someone with a profile, or the voice needs to have that engagement. So,
Okay.
I think at the moment, it's quite an oversaturated talent market.
Yes.
And then when there's no work, we really feel it, you know what I mean? So it's about, I suppose, presenting yourself with quality commercial reels rather than trying to bit-bop, as many things into your reel as possible, and overwhelm, the space that you've got, really, because when we're promoting a marketing talent at the moment, we're almost promoting a marketing to a silent audience, because everybody is, they're going through some hard times. There's a lot of shift happening. So all we can do as an agency and any artist out there is stay relevant and, and focus on quality work versus trying to get the quantity. So that's what I think we should be doing at this time.
Are you getting a lot more people submitting to try to be voice talent in Australia? I mean,
yeah, of course.
I mean, is it like endless?
It's every day.
Okay.
I definitely receive, I would say on average, at least 3 to 5 a day.
3 to 5 people a day. Okay.
Yeah. So for all those people that do email me, I do, again, we come back to quality over quantity.
Right.
So I really do, I like to sit very quietly and listen to each and every demo. So if I have time, I do respond. But yeah, there is a lot of people wanting to break into the industry, and, I guess at this time, you are speaking to a silent audience, and I'm going to remain very loyal to the people that we have on the books currently.
Very
you guys
good.
are my first priority. I certainly wouldn't want to add to another set of competition within in-house, and make it even harder on everybody else, kind of thing. So, yes, I do get a lot of emails all the time. We try to, give as much feedback as we can, because you never know who the next person you might be speaking to. They could be the next big thing. You just never know.
My favorite when trying to sign with a new agent is, I'm not saying no. You can have that.
I actually use that. Don't worry.
It's so funny because I interviewed an agent over here that's also a friend in Denver, Colorado, and I asked him a lot of the same questions. And you're a world away, half a world away, well, a world away, 14 hours away. You're in another time zone, and your answers are pretty spot on to what he was talking about. Same thing.
That's great. I mean, look, I've sat down and I've watched the round table or something on YouTube, Agents of the Round Table. And, that's often how, as agents ourselves, can relate to, the day-to-day workflow and understanding on how they manage talent. And we all do the same thing. We are all to be honest, with a person behind you giving you the gentle push,
Yeah.
nurturing your career. We're going to fight for you when it comes to getting the right rate. There's a whole, world of things. And I think it's very beneficial to have an agent for sure. Definitely.
Okay. Favorite part of the job?
Oh,
Besides this.
A job.
Besides this.
Someone getting a job. It is so rewarding to honestly build someone's career, to be part of that process. And actors are validated, artists are validated when they're working. So when they're not working, they can feel quite lost. Okay. Call me anytime. That's what we call.
This whole show is all about validation for me. No, I'm kidding. So let's wrap it up. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to tell me? Anything you want to say to the audience about the voice industry? Or you don't have to.
Look, I think if talent were asking what they can do for themselves, I would say to them, invest in your own career, invest in yourself. Make sure you've got your headshots updated and your demos relevant, and listen to the market around you, and don't be scared to network. We actually say to people, build a relationship with clients first before you ask for work. Okay. Maybe it's in Australia, everyone wants to be your mate first. I don't know, but that seems to work. And glue your phone to your hip. Don't miss a call. In the voiceover industry, a missed call is a missed job. It goes that quickly now.
And you have to react quickly. I'll let you go. Thanks for spending the morning with me. Appreciate it. Bye-bye. Bye. Take care. And that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot. Again, remember, there's a lot of other episodes to check out. Make sure you subscribe to The Voice of Victor here on the YouTube channel. That way you don't miss any upcoming content. And as always, we're brought to you by my friends at Orlex. If there's something you need, soundproofing, accessories for your studio, they've got you covered. Go to www.orlex.com and stay tuned for our next show. We're going to be interviewing an old friend of mine. He's very, outspoken about the voiceover industry. We're going to be talking with Mr. Dave Courvoisier. So make sure you tune in for that one. It's going to be a dandy. Okay, I'll see you next time, and make sure you subscribe. Later.